Hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Simply Street English podcast. My name is Jacob, and you are listening because you're learning English. I'm going to be speaking slowly and concisely and quite clearly as much as I can. I do talk quite quickly usually, so I will try and slow down for this one. Today I'm going to be talking about how to find a job. So you're going to listen to lots of vocabulary to do with searching for work and obviously finding a job. And also it will be quite culturally relevant to the UK, so the kind of websites that we look on when we're looking for a job here in England, Scotland, Wales, etc., Ireland. Won't miss you out. And so hopefully you enjoy it. Just before I start, I will remind you that all of the transcripts for all the episodes are available on the Patreon account. So check out patreon.com/simplystreetenglish. The first 5 are free, so go check them out. And after that, you have to join if you'd like to access them. And then you'll obviously be able to read the transcript as you listen to this podcast, and you'll be able to pick up new words. So go check it out. I think it'll be helpful. I use transcripts when I learn languages, so I'm making them available for you. So let's get on with it. Finding a job obviously can be very stressful, and here's a bit of a guide on how to find one, especially in the UK. So I've done a lot of these things myself as well. So the first thing you do is obviously go to an online job board or website. So the one that I use the most or have used is indeed.co.uk. I don't know what it's like in your country, but Indeed, okay? So that is the one where you type in perhaps what you're looking for and the place that you're looking for it in. So you can look for, look or search for a city or just a region, I guess. So indeed.co.uk. I think there's a .com as well, so it works in the States as well. You've also got read.co.uk. I remember that one. I've looked on there a few times. Total Jobs. I think I've been on Total Jobs. But apart from that, I think I looked on LinkedIn for jobs, and that's probably it for now for me. I can't think of any more. Facebook actually has some groups and some local things. If you're on social media, that's a way to look for a job. But these online job boards and websites are usually very helpful. People post jobs online, they go through the website, so they pay them a commission fee, etc. So there are lots of jobs updated every day, and you can also get notifications. So if you like a job or a certain company, you can sign up and get a notification from Indeed. I know that. So that's very helpful. So first thing to do is definitely check online, alright? Definitely set up those job alerts so that you can get matched or notified with new jobs that kind of align or match up with your skill set. The second thing you could consider is talking to a recruitment agency. So they will take your details, and their job is essentially to find your job, right? So especially with jobs that are not advertised publicly. So some companies won't advertise, like spend money trying to find people for their roles, job roles. And so these agencies can help, and they also get paid commission and things like that for finding people to match those job roles. So they're on your side, they're trying to get you employment, because like I said, it's their job to find you your next job. And I've used agencies before, and they're quite helpful. Hayes.co.uk is one, and Hayes I actually did use, and personally I found the lady I worked with me, she was so helpful, because I told her I'd like to do XYZ. For example, I want to do, what was it now? I said something corporate, like office work. I want to do this, that and the other. And she said, you know what, I don't think that matches your personality. And I took that on board, and I eventually did find a job which matched me. And I actually felt like she listened to me and really helped. So she wasn't just trying to shoehorn, like push me into a job that wasn't fit for me. To shoehorn something is to make something try and fit when it doesn't fit, okay? So she really helped. And so that's a recruitment agency. They'll try and help you find a job. They'll contact you if they find something that you're looking for. You can obviously try networking, and that's a really good one. Networking can be done offline as well as online. So I think I've already mentioned LinkedIn. So you obviously can connect with people in your field, people in your job industry sort of thing, and just engage with other people's posts. I would say that online or LinkedIn is probably not the best, right? Because you might just be sitting at home, especially if you're unemployed, and you can be thinking things and being discouraged. Meeting people in person is always much better. So go to a job fair or a networking event, okay? I don't think I've ever been to a networking event, but at university I definitely went to job fairs. So a fair will be where there are a bunch of different companies set up or organizations, and they have a stand where they talk to you, maybe give you flyers on what they do for their work, and then you can talk to a real person who works for that company. I think that real life interaction is much better than just sitting on your computer looking at roles on LinkedIn, for example. Absolutely right. For networking, use your circle that you already have, your friendship circle, family, friends, or even former colleagues with people you used to work with. Because I read a stat at some point, right? I don't know how true it is, but about 80% of job openings are filled just by word of mouth. Now, from my own experience, I've had quite a few jobs where I just asked, or once I was headhunted. I was quite flattered, but it was a very small industry, right? So it wasn't because I was amazing. It's just that there was not a lot of people in it. So that was word of mouth, right? So I think it's probably quite accurate to say that 80% of jobs are filled by word of mouth. Also means that, the company doesn't have to do any advertising. They just know the person, and it's good for everybody. So ask people, talk to people. I'm looking for a job, etc. And that's a really good way to find one, I believe anyway, because you have that personal connection. Another thing I found on the internet was a walk-in application. So this is number 4. It says here, if you're looking for work in retail, hospitality or restaurants, visiting in person with your CV can really work. I think this is perfect. This really does work. I remember when I worked for a restaurant. I worked for Nando's, but I also worked for Zzz's, right? When I was at uni, and then just after. I just walked in and said, hey, have you got any jobs going? They said, all right, come back for an interview. It's really, as for hospitality, is just about being able to talk to people and be kind. That's it, really. You do learn the menu, etc. But if you can walk in there and talk to them, that's what they're looking for anyway. So would definitely recommend that if you're looking for a retail job or hospitality, etc. So I remember walking into Zzz's and just asking this, and then he gave me an interview. Took my CV in, but it's more about just showing that you are willing to work and you know what you're doing, really. Even if you don't know what you're doing, just the fact that you know how to talk to people shows that you've got half of the job right there. It doesn't work so much with big companies, but perhaps smaller companies or definitely hospitality, it works, right? Another thing we have in the UK is a job centre. So you can go to a place in town, in a city, and it's essentially a big office, but I think it's run by the council, right? It's a local job centre. So I think it's called Job Centre, right? Or Job Centre Plus. I remember going to the job centre when I was unemployed for a little while, just to see what they had, really. It was a bit of an experience. They sit down, they ask you if you're looking for jobs. They help you to find a job as well. But it's not really their job to make you motivated. You have to make yourself motivated and apply for things and pick up the phone and call people. So they're there to give you some support, but really you need to be doing most of the work in looking for your job. In the UK as well, you can also check whether you're eligible, so whether you're allowed to or can apply for universal credit, as well as something called job seekers allowance, I think it's called. So you can get paid while you're looking for a job. Obviously you'd rather have a job because you'll get more money than the job seekers, and I've only had to do that once in my life. It's about 2 months of unemployment. That was difficult, but managed to get something just after that, which was great. So excuse me, next thing I found, so number 6, you can just check on company websites. So if you find a company you like, you can either follow them via social media or something, or just get their job alerts, and so if they've got new opportunities, they'll tell you. So some companies, they don't like to pay advertisers. They just like to advertise directly on their own websites. Another thing you can try is going for an apprenticeship or traineeship. So you can find them in the UK, at least, on apprenticeships.gov.uk. So it's like a government website. And an apprenticeship is where you start off right at the bottom, right of the ladder, or at the bottom of a job, and you work your way up. So you start off literally making cups of tea in a company. So it could be electrician, like you could be working with electricity, being an electrician, plumber, gas, carpenter, builder. Any of these are called trades, and you can start as an apprentice. You can make really good money eventually. Probably takes about 3 to 5 years though to really understand what you're doing. And I think they're really good ways of earning money eventually, because you learn a skill, and a lot of these skills are disappearing. People are not going into the trades as they used to. I'll do another episode on apprenticeships actually and the trades, because I think they're brilliant and something we should talk about. So I'll come back to that another time. Number 8, right? You need to be improving your CV. So what you can do is do some volunteering if you've got some free time. Do an internship maybe, if you can do it, like as in financially, if you, because to me it sounds like unpaid work and probably is, but if you have to do an internship or volunteer just to get yourself experience, then so be it. That's kind of what you have to do. Obviously internships with the company can lead to a job, so it can just be a temporary stepping stone for you to do. With that as well, improving your CV, let me talk about what a CV is. It's that piece of paper, either online or a literal piece of paper with all of your job experience and skills, etc., right? It stands for curriculum vitae, which is Latin. I don't know what it actually means. I will look that up. But essentially, like I said, it's all the things that you've done in your life, work related, okay? And essentially just helps the employer to know what you're all about, really, who you are in terms of a work perspective, right? So in Latin, I said curriculum vitae. It means, apparently, right, course of life. So it's a short written summary of your career, qualifications and education. I missed that bit out. So where you went to school and what kind of education you have, whether you've got GCSEs, A-levels, a degree, because that's what we get here in the UK at least, right? GCSE, A-level, degree, masters, what else is there? PhD, etc., right? So you can write a cover letter for each job you do, so why you think you'd be good at it. Yeah, so I'd like to work for this company because I like earning money. It's probably not going to work, right? You need to be a bit more specific. I think I mentioned social media. Just you can check, local job groups and friends and things, and talk on social media. Just use everything, right? Take some online courses as well. That's another thing you can do. Get a certification. Sometimes you have to pay some money, invest in yourself to get qualified in something, and then it's easier to find a job. But yeah, here are some final tips for success when looking for a job. Stay consistent, follow up, prepare for interviews, right? So stay consistent. Keep applying to jobs. Looking for a job is your job when you don't have one, right? Because eventually you're going to need money. So it's hard and it's disheartening sometimes, which means it's difficult, okay? But you must stay consistent. If you don't hear back from a company, you can either send an email or give them a call. They won't mind. And then preparing for interviews, especially if it's one you really, really want, research the company, think about the questions they might ask you, and go from there. So, I hope you've learned something about how to find a job in the UK. If you've got any questions about any of the vocabulary, then comment wherever you're listening to this. Also, I hope you've had a good day today, and you will keep listening to the Simply Street English podcast. So, we'll see each other in the next episode. Cheers. Bye-bye.